Alright, so good morning, and yeah, I thought I'd do a bit of a Puma shoe comparison here. We have the Magnify Nitro 3 on top here and the Velocity Nitro 4 on the bottom here, and these are Puma's latest daily trainers. And if you watched my individual videos I did on both of these shoes, then yeah, I've been absolutely loving these, and I've actually done about 150k in both of these respectively. So yeah, I should tell you that I really like these. And yeah, the reason why I haven't done this video yet is that it's been kind of hard to really pick a favorite for me, and I've really been going back and forth a lot. And I think I'll spoiler the conclusion here a bit and say that there's not actually that much in it, and these are quite similar. But yeah, let's see where the differences are. So in the Velocity Nitro 4 here. Now, I recently watched Chris from Sargasso Running's video he did on this one, where he said something that quite stuck with me, and that is that this is like an boring shoe. Yeah, I find that quite accurate actually, as this is kind of, it doesn't really have any like hype features about it. It kind of looks and runs like an old school daily trainer. It doesn't have a lot of rocker, fairly flat, and just that little hint of ground feel in the midsole, but not too much. You still have 36 millimeters of heel stack here, but this shoe does have an ace up its sleeve. Compare this to a real old school daily trainer like the Pegasus. This foam here is on another level, really. I don't really know, is this PIBA or ATPU? I don't really know, but it is really nice. It's so soft and has a real bounce to it. Yeah, this is really what defines the shoe for me, the full nitro foam that Puma uses here. Compare this to the competition, and this is just so much more lively and has so much more bounce to it, and it is also so much more cushioned. I mean, this is just on another level compared to the Pegasus, and it's soft, it is squishy, it, does have a lot of compression, but you don't feel like you're sinking through this. Like with a lot of foams that are very soft, you kind of end up with a lot of ground contact. This is not like that, and this is very bouncy. I mean, okay, this is not a fast shoe. I wouldn't take this on a speed session. It's not meant to be. But at the same time, if you do want to pick up the pace a bit, this is not going to hold you back. And yeah, it really is at 130 euros hard to beat. And also the Velocity 4 is so light. This is only 198 grams in my size. This is one of the lightest daily trainers out there. Actually pretty much the same weight as the Evo SL and the Rebel 5 in my size. And you do feel it underfoot. This really makes it easy to kind of pick up your feet, as it were. And yeah, like I said, it's not really a speed shoe. You do feel like maybe a bit too flexible and maybe not quite this kind of explosiveness you'd want there, but I've got other shoes for that. And at the same time, you can go quick in this one. Like, this is not the kind of shoe that forces you into first gear or something like that. Just switching into the Magnify here for part 2 of this run, and let's just start off by having a look at what the visual differences are actually, because I mean, just putting these side by side here, you kind of think that these are very similar actually, and there's really not a lot of difference. And just looking at the stats, well, the Velocity is 36 millimeters in the heel, where the Magnify is 40, so that's a 4 millimeter difference, which is not really a lot. And the Velocity comes in at 198 grams, where the Magnify comes in at 230, but there's a little caveat here, and that is that I got different sizes in these shoes. Now, I normally wear a EU 40, and that's what I got the Magnify in, so this is the bigger shoe. I kind of felt like this shoe fit a tiny bit too long, like it just had a bit too much room up front here, so I actually went a size down in the Velocity, and this is a 39 because Puma skips the 39.5, and this fits me better. So yeah, just take that into account when talking about weight here, that the difference is probably a bit smaller than what the scale says for me, as these are different sizes. But yeah, just putting these shoes side by side here and looking at the underside, I think you can kind of see where this is heading now, as the Magnify, which is this one here, this does have a wider base. I mean, it's not a whole lot, but it is a bit wider, just all around a bit more platform to this shoe. And in terms terms of the upper, well, first off, sizing, yes, is a bit tricky to say as these are different sizes, but I think they're pretty much the same, honestly. I mean, okay, the Magnify has this pull tab here and it has an interesting kind of stretchy material here, which the Velocity doesn't, but I think they're very, very, very similar, and fit is pretty much the same, i.e. kind of narrow and kind of long. But I think the most interesting difference here is actually in the foam, and both of these are branded Nitro foam. And as I said, I don't know if this is a TPU or PIBA or whatever, but I don't think this is actually the same foam. Just squishing my finger in the Magnify, this is definitely different. This is softer and this is squishier. There is, yeah, more of a sinking feeling to this, where I feel like the Velocity just a bit more kind of a rebound feeling. But yeah, I think it's time to take the Magnify for a run now and see how this one compares. Yeah, very interesting indeed in the Magnify here. It feels like a more luxurious version of the Velocity, and I hope I'm making sense here. Just feels nicer, not exactly better, just nicer. Like there's just more of everything here, and the softer foam, yeah, just feels like you've got a more premium shoe here. It's not quite as simplistic as the Velocity, though it does have the same kind of build to it. So I think what's been confusing a lot of people with the Magnify, including me, is its actual use case. I mean, is this a max cushion shoe? I'd argue that in 2025, 40 millimeters of heel stack, it's not really max cushion anymore, and Puma has a max cushion shoe already. That's the Mag Max. So yeah, I think you just have to see this as something in between the Velocity and the Mag Max. So that's basically what this is. This is just a higher cushion version of the Velocity. It's basically the same kind of build. You've got the same 10 millimeter drop, you've got the same basic geometry, pretty much the same upper, very, very similar outsole as well, and yeah, maybe a slightly softer foam, but otherwise this is, yeah, just really a Velocity on steroids. It weighs a bit more. This is 230 grams versus 198 in the Velocity, and it costs a bit more as well. This is 150 euros, which is still very fair, versus 130 in the Velocity, and I think that's basically what it comes down to. This is basically a higher cushion version of the Velocity. So yeah, I think that's it here on this comparison of the Puma Velocity Nitro 4 and the Magnify Nitro 3 here, and maybe not the most satisfying conclusion, and maybe this is not what you wanted to hear, or maybe this is what you wanted to hear, but I don't think you really have to buy both of these. I mean, you certainly can. I have, and I don't regret it, because I love both of these, and I still keep going back and forth on which one I actually prefer. Yeah, this is not like the Pegasus and the Vomero, where you feel like you've got two shoes that are related, but are fundamentally kind of different use cases, where one of them is a max cushion plotter and one is more of your standard daily trainer. These are much closer together, and I think it really depends on how much cushion you want underfoot, and if you want a slightly wider base, a bit more of a stable shoe and a bit more foam underfoot, or if you are okay with a more traditional setup of the Velocity. And yeah, I don't think you can go wrong with either of these really, and hope you found this entertaining, and like and subscribe as always, and see you soon.